It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey folks, today we are taking a look at Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft. And as you might be able to tell, this is a two-player game in which each player is going to take on the role of one of the two brothers in order to find the clues you need to find. You only have a limited amount of time, limited amount of resources, and you are trying to make the most of those in order to come out ahead and win the game. Let me show you how the game works in a brief overview, and then I'll tell you what I think of this little two-player game. The objective of the game is to, over the span of 7 days, which is 7 turns, get the most victory points, and you're going to be doing that by collecting sets of cards which come from over here. Some are laid face up. We are going to set these characters, always these same 3, face up on the table. Every player has 3 little meeples, and you get 5 of these investigation tokens. You put the rest of them over here, and then you're ready to begin. The way scoring works, once the entire game is over, is whoever has the most of each kind of card is going to score that many points, and the deck has 9 9s, there are 6 6s, there are 3 3s, etc. And so, if I have the most 9s, I'm going to get 9 points, but it's 9 minus 1 point for every one of those cards my opponent has. And so, if I have the most, let's say I have 5 of them, and my opponent got 4 of them, then I'm actually scoring 9 minus 4, only getting 5 points for that set. And if I have a set, let's say the 6s here at the end, I have more 6s, but my opponent got none of them, then I'm actually scoring a bonus 3 points for that, okay? There's a couple of different cards in here, but that's the majority of what's in the deck. And then you're ready to begin. We're going to flip over 2 character cards for day 1. And then every subsequent day, you just add 1 character. And so we're going to flip these over in 1 second. Let me actually explain what these are first and how the general flow of the game works. On your turn, you are going to take one of your little meeples here. You are going to lay them down on a character, and you are going to take that power of that character. And then your opponent will do so. And then you will do so, making sure you don't go to the same character again, and so on. Once the round is over, everyone has played, and by the way, yes, we can both go to the same one, I just cannot double up myself. Then at the end of that round, we are going to stand everybody back up, and we are going to start again. And so, you now must be careful to move one somewhere else. And if you are interested in taking this action, for instance, and your meeple is standing there, well, you better evacuate them so that you can use another one to then come in there, okay? So, that's the general flow. Let me show you a sample turn here. Flip over a couple of characters. This inspector here, and the Langdale Pike, there he is. All right, here's what each of these does. Watson here, you can give up one of these, and he will allow you to take any one card you want. Mrs. Hudson here will allow you to take 3 of these from the pool, 3 of the investigation tokens. For this one, you can spend 3, and you get 2 cards. This character allows you to spend 2, 4, or 6 to draw 1, 2, or 3 cards from out here, respectively. And then this character lets you discard 1, 2, or 3 of the spyglasses to draw from the deck 1, 2, or 3. You still only keep 1, but you keep that one secretly, okay? Unless it's a wild card. The wild cards you have to reveal. I'll show you one of those in a bit. And so we start, and so I'm the start player. I'm going to play here. I'm going to discard 3 of these, and I'm going to take this 9. The card is immediately replenished. And I'm going to take the other 9, and that card is immediately replenished. It is now my opponent's turn. They are going to go here. They are going to spend 1 of these, and they are going to take the 7, and that's immediately replenished. It is back to me. That is a wild card, and so I'm going to go here, and No, I'm going to go here. I'm going to spend 1. And I am going to take the wild card. And I now have 2 options. I can take this wild card. I can assign it to the 9 here. And it's as though it's another 9. Or I can just not assign it yet. And later on, give it its value by getting something else and putting it on that is the idea. Or just hanging on to it. Each set, however, can only have 1 wild at most. So I have to be careful with that. Okay? And so again, back to my opponent here. And they are going to, let's say, spend 4 and take 2. And they will take this other 7. And they will flip. And they will take a 9 to start competing with me. And now it's back to me. I am going to go there and get 3 more of these. And they are going to do the same thing probably. And that is 1 round. Once this is done, everybody stands up. We check if any of the characters that are not permanent, meaning these 3 up here are permanent, they're in fact double-sided cards, to help remind you of that. If any of those had both players go there, then the character is exhausted. They're overwhelmed. And so let's say we both went here. We would take this card and flip it over for 1 day. And then they'll come back. No one can go there. And so now it's day 2. We'll flip over a new one. Wiggins here. If you go there, you get 5 investigation tokens. So great. He's probably going to get exhausted this early in the game. Meaning we'll both go there. And probably he won't be available next round. This continues in the deck of cards here, besides the numbers, down to 3, if I'm not mistaken, and the wild cards, there's also these map fragments. And the way these work is if you have a single 1 at the end of the game, you lose 1 victory point. And then if you have 2, you get a point. 3, if you have 2, you get 1 point. If you have 3, you get 3 points. If you have 4, you get 6 points. And if you have all 5, there's 5 of them, then you get 10 points. And so that's what these cards, as you can see there, that's what they look like. Very simple. And so that's the game. You continue going until the end of the 7th day. You count up the points in the method I showed you. You count up your map fragments. If you have a wild card that you never were able to assign, you would be able to assign it now, assuming the set does not already have a wild card. So be careful you don't take too many of these, or just have enough sets to assign them to. If you do have one you cannot assign, it's going to cost you some points, and then you count up the points and see who wins, and that's basically it. The rest of these characters do various things, but they're all variations on what you've seen so far. Like this one lets me draw 1 card for free, and the opponent may pay 1 to draw a card. And this one lets me discard a card, and then I am going to get that card, the value of the card, minus the day it is. So let's say this gets flipped right here, and I'm discarding a 9. So it's 9 minus 3. I would get 6 of the investigation tokens. I've seen this character sometimes show up really late, and no one takes them, right? And so there's things like that. This one lets you get rid of some cards, and this one lets you switch one you already have with something that's out there. The dog here gives you as many investigation tokens as you have sets in front of you, so if you have a wide variety of sets, this is sometimes even more powerful than Wiggins here. And so that's it. Most points at the end of the game is the winner of Holmes. So as you can tell, and this was my first reaction as well, the game reads and looks a lot more thematic than it really is. And I went into it, I read the rulebook, I was like, ooh, this sounds very interesting, and they give you a lot of flavor in the rulebook. You know, with all the characters, with what you're supposed to be doing, where all those cards mean, but very quickly, it's a 9, and it's a 6, and it's, you know, whatever, and the characters are just, oh, this one gives you 3, this one lets you trade. And that's not bad, it just was an interesting sort of, not what I was expecting. However, I love set collection games, I love good artwork, and I like clever ideas, and I think this game has all 3 of those things. The simple scoring mechanism with a little twist reminds me of classic Michael Shot designs, and I always liked his clear ideas, his really interesting stuff, because I like that. I like the pyramid set, 9 9s, 8 8s, all of that. But most games that use that idea of scoring say, if you have more 9s than me, you get 9 points. That's it. But in this one, if you have more 9s than me, and I have almost as many, they're not going to score that many points. Whereas if I was able to corner the 4s, and you got none, that's 7 points. That's pretty good. And so, I really like that scoring mechanism. I really also like the idea of the characters being doled out little by little. And if a specific character shows up on day 1 or shows up on day 6, that's a huge difference for most of them, And so I really like that as well. I like the idea of having very limited resources. You have the 3 characters, and that's all you get every day. And so there's not that many quote-unquote turns that you take in the game, So if you're wasting any of those, you are falling behind. Now, yeah, there's luck as to what gets flipped up and all of that, but you can still be smart in this game. I enjoy that it's clever. And everything just comes together in a really neat, simple, streamlined package. And I really was impressed by it. I wasn't sure what to expect again, and that first initial impression made me think, oh, they made this sound like it was going to be a deduction game, like it was going to be something else, and it's not. But what is here is really interesting, and I'm very glad I got to play this one. So if you can get your hands on it and you enjoy simple 2-player games with a hint of clever play, then I would definitely recommend Holmes here. Thumbs up from me. Check this one out, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.